This area behind me is where I have my peaches, and then just right on the other side here I have my citrus. And this last year we got not one single day of frost, so my peaches have done absolutely horrible. And not only that, the watering system that I have down here is kind of a pain. Not only am I hand watering each one of these plants, I also have been using 5-gallon buckets with holes drilled into the bottom to fill up some of the other plants to make watering a little bit easier or go a little bit quicker. And what I plan on doing with this area is hopefully going to eliminate that altogether, where I can just come down here, turn on the hose, it waters everything, and then turn it off. I am not going to use a traditional drip system because the rabbits down here and the squirrels, they will chew the water line just to get some water. So as you can see, this area behind me has a lot of weeds. I have tried to keep the weeds down by putting bark, mulch, and straw in this area, and it just doesn't seem to work. So someday I won't have weeds down here. I don't know what I'm going to do about them right now, but first and foremost, what I need to do is I think I'm going to pull the cages that I have around each one of these plants. And what you see growing here, I actually think is growing from the graft, not the actual plant. There are some leaves on the plant, so it is still alive, but the graft, I need to trim that up a little bit. And these weeds really suck and stick to my clothes. So I'm gonna get to trimming. That is the kind of weed that I am dealing with. They hurt and stick on everything. So now that these are taken care of, I'm just gonna start with this section right here. But the first thing that I actually need to do is put all of the pieces together for my drip system, my sprinkler system. And what I'm actually going to do is just take some of these old hoses that I have lying around that are busted and measure the distance, and then put like a two-way valve on them, like we're at each tree, and then fix the hoses by adding like a male and a female part to them, and then putting a sprinkler head on the two-way valve. You'll probably see what I mean or what I'm talking about as soon as I start throwing these things together, but that's what I got to do right now. But first I need to I have stickers all in my hands and in my clothes. So I'm going to take care of that and then get to putting this section together. All right, so I have a few supplies here for my sprinkler system for my trees, my fruit trees. And this is basically what I am building here. So I have all but one of these kind of put together. This is the sprinkler head, and then this is where the hose is gonna go in and the hose is gonna go out, and then each one of these is gonna sit at the base of a tree. Now I can cut these to whatever length I want, but I haven't cut anything yet because I don't know if I wanna cut them. So the components of this are this tube here, which I don't have my glasses on, but it's just a hollow tube that screws into this elbow here like this, and there's two different threads, so like one that goes down and then the other one that goes up. So the one that goes down is going to screw into the elbow here, and then this is the Y connector, and that's just going to go right onto the elbow on the other end here, like that. And you can turn on either side. If you have a problem down the line, you can shut it off and fix it or whatever. And then the last part of this part of it is just the sprinkler head, which comes with some sort of a filter. You just put it on top of there, and then you screw that on there. Now I imagine, I don't know this right off the top of my head, but because it is a screw here, I would imagine that if you screw it down, maybe it makes less of a belt. I don't know, but I think that this may have something to do with the amount of water or the distance of the water. That's just my educated guess. So now that I've got most of these, well, they're all put together except for a lot of them just don't have the sprinkler top on them. The next thing that I'm gonna do, I probably should actually go in with some, this is like plumber's tape. Basically, it just helps seal the fittings. If there's a problem, I will go back. Do I want to go back, or do I want to just do it now? I don't know, but I can do that. So then the next thing that I have here tool wise is I have some tape. I have, hopefully these will be strong enough. I don't know if these will work or if I need like PVC cutters, but these are some sort of cutter and a flathead screwdriver, because I have a hose here that's already been cut and it was just laying around in my yard. So this one is, the first part of this is actually pretty much done for me. But on the other ends of the hose, I need to put these connectors, which are like male and female parts. And then this here goes over the connector, and then you would take the screwdriver and tighten it so that it doesn't come off. So I think now the only thing left to do is kind of just get over there, and then the tape actually is for the longer piece of this hose. I'm gonna lay the hose out all the way and then take the tape and mark where I want the cutting of the hose to go. Hopefully this works. Now I have been putting off finishing this project because, like I showed, the weeds here in this area are just absolutely atrocious and spiky and pokey, and they hurt and I don't like them, and I don't really know what to do about them. So I actually have looked up planting comfrey, it's the sterile comfrey over here, because it actually helps add nutrients into the ground, but it also is so thick that it reduces the amount of weeds that grow. So I'm gonna look more into that, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do. So I have some mat stuff, some weed barrier laid down over here just so that I can walk in the area. But let's get to the first part of assembling this. So my spigot is over here, and I was hoping this would be long enough, but it's not. But it might be long enough to go in between the trees, or at least one pair of trees. Okay, so it didn't work for the first set of trees, but it worked for the second and third trees over there. So that is actually perfect. I do have to replace the connector, but I have the longer piece of hose, which I'm gonna grab here. And this, I am going to, now eventually I'm going to have to put the Y piece also on the spigot, because I have this section of trees here, and then I have a section of trees over there that I want to do as well. But for now, one thing at a time, I'm going to hook this to this spigot. Okay, so now that that's hooked up over there, I'm just gonna stretch this hose out. Like this. Gosh, this is such an ugly part of the yard, but I'm just gonna stretch it out, because the rest of this I'm going to take down further to the very last plant, because I have that other piece of hose in between those. So now with my tape, and quite honestly, I don't even think I need the tape. That is just for measuring it and lining it up before you make any cuts to make sure it's how you want it. But I think I'm probably going to regret this, but I'm just going to cut this hose, I guess, right about here. Oh, lovely. Okay, so now that that is cut, I'm going to assemble this, I think, before I move down the line. So now I need to put a couple of end pieces in here. Now this is where it might get a little confusing, because my husband mentioned something about running the hose in reverse, and I have no idea exactly what that means. So, hold please. Maybe he just means that I have to have this end right here on every single end, because it has to screw onto this. So to get this in here, very simple. You just push it in all the way. Definitely want it in more than that. I don't know if that's going to be enough, and I totally messed up anyways, because I think you got to put this part on first. I might be able to unscrew it all, but I don't want to. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay. So ideally, I think this would be pushed in a lot more. Okay, I got it in as far as I think I'm gonna get it. So now I have this clamp here, which I just need to tighten. And you want it to be on the hose, the rubber part of the hose, so that it clamps down and keeps this part in place. Do. Come on. Okay. Make sure it's straight, and then I am just going to make sure it's pretty tight. As tight as I can get it. Ow. All right, I think that's pretty good. Now, the washer fell out and I want the washer in there. So I'm just gonna put the washer back in like that. And then I'm gonna get this other one on really quick. And then hook this one up. Ow! Ow, ow, ow. That hurt. That one actually went in pretty good. And I was gonna say I lost the thing. Okay. Okay. And I lost the washer on that one somewhere. There it is. And now I am just going to connect these somehow. I have a feeling that one's not gonna hold. Now if I really wanted to, I could put some sort of a stake right here to hold this up because it is just kind of precariously sitting there. But I'm not gonna do that right now. But I am gonna turn this on and somehow I am going to try and pinch off the end. Maybe I'll just hold it and just see what happens with that one. Because I need the satisfaction of knowing that this is actually going to work after I hurt my finger. Okay. It works. It's a lot of water coming out of there, but makes my job a little bit easier. Okay, so I decided that I'm gonna go ahead and just use this Teflon tape to seal the bottom of the sprinkler tube thingy, just so that there's less leakage. And to do that, this stuff basically just fits right inside the grooves, and you just need a couple of swipes, pull, and then right in there, and it's pretty tight. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of these, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish up cutting and putting this drip system together, and then I will show you what it's looking like. This makes me so dang happy I don't even know if you understand how dang happy this makes me. It was always such a chore to come down here and water all these plants, and now by the turn of a handle, a dial, whatever, I have water. 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 And the reason that this one is sprinkling or dripping the water like it is because I have that one turned down. So if I turn down the rest of these, I imagine it will all look like that. So that is super, super exciting. I did put this off for quite some time. I'm glad that I finally got it taken care of. It took me probably, I don't even know what time it is, but I'd say maybe an hour, hour and a half. I do plan on hopefully figuring out something to do with these weeds, maybe planting some comfrey. Not 100% sure, but I cannot stand this part of my yard because of these weeds. And I was hoping that these trees would grow better, but I've had problems with these trees since I planted them. Probably some of them are going on their third year. A gopher had chewed up basically all but one of them, so I had to replant them with the same plant, so I had to just take the plant out. Like this one right here literally had one root left, and so I stuck it in a pot for a year, put it back in the ground, and now they all have cages around them except for this one over here. So that might be a problem, but for now, I have water. I'm super excited. I can't say I'm excited enough. So on that note, another time, which you don't need to see because it's going to be the same process, I'm going to do the upper citrus area, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.